As the country prepares to implement the Development Blueprint Kenya Vision 2030, it's imperative that it adopt some of the best practices in the world. Japan is one of the world's most respected and well-planned economies. It has good roads, well-established railway system, an efficient air transport, and much more. In May 2010, Daniel Irukan left the country for Japan to attend a 4-month training course on digital video production and dissemination. He was later to join other participants from 4 countries: Botswana, El Salvador, Thailand, and Myanmar. During this period, Daniel got to experience some of the world-class practices that can be adapted locally. For instance, the most outstanding experience was how the country had invested heavily on the road, rail, water, and air transport network system. The transport sector is very efficient and rarely do you hear of an accident or delays. The rail network is underground in the cities with some over the main road network, such as the monorail that has been constructed above the road network. Kenyan parastatals and private companies have had problems funding their operations, which has led to the near collapse of some of them. We take a look at Japan's public broadcaster, NHK, Nippon Broadcasting Corporation. The NHK is a local and international broadcaster reaching millions of people across the globe via satellite transmission. To raise funds, this station has invested in some of the programs, which includes a broadcast museum, which showcases thousands of ancient cameras manufactured in Japan. It also houses all the equipment that was used during the early days of broadcast in the country, and amazingly, some of them are still in good working conditions.
The Broadcast Museum is a branch of the NHK, which is a public broadcaster equivalent to KBC in Kenya. And the museum houses some of the oldest cameras. Actually, it showcases the broadcast technology and how it developed in that country. From the first camera Japan manufactured, the first radio they manufactured, the first transmission equipment they used for transmission during that time. This dates back to during the First World War and even before.
These treasures attract students with interest in the broadcast profession and even scientists and researchers who conduct their thesis tracing back the development of the broadcast industry. These services are normally available at a fee that goes a long way in the funding of the station's operations. Some equipment and artistic creativity used in early programming as well kept here depict how rich and creative this society is. Apart from the Broadcast Museum, the station also has some other tailor-made programs for students and the whole family who would like to understand how programming is done and all that happens behind the camera. For instance, there is a competition for presenting live on camera as others watch.
NHK has also some other programs for the families. There are certain studios where children can go there. They are recorded, they do some presentations, actual live presentation because it's recorded. There's a camera crew standby. There are normally the floor managers there to give them directions what to do. And all that, it's really, these are some of the things that children love doing. And even some of the old people. We're talking about Kutuma Salam in Kenya. You see, if you have that kind of thing, people will be coming. They want actually to know, how is this done? Mtu anaweza tuma salamu namna gani? Such like things. What happens behind the camera and all that. So you find that it's a way you're introducing the public to know what's happening behind the cameras. At the same time, this public is also bringing in money, which can be used in other ways in funding some of the operations of the company.
Other programs include miming as the cartoons converse, then the audio is recorded between two people. It is then played back and you enjoy listening to your voice as cartoon. In doing so, this multi-billion station has been able to invest in the state-of-the-art studio. It is also housed in an ultra-modern building. These are some of the programs which, if adopted, can go a long way in providing funding in Kenya's public and private broadcasters. Japan has also invested so much in one of the world's largest aquariums, Okinawa Churaumi Aquarium, which is home to thousands of the amphibians. The turtles here are perhaps some of the biggest in the world. The sea lions, among others, entertain visitors with their drills. What stands out, perhaps, is the dolphin show in the aquarium, which attracts thousands of tourists locally and internationally to experience the friendly nature of these intelligent aquatic animals. The most exciting and scintillating, perhaps, is how the trainers communicate with the dolphins. Before the show begins, the dolphins will be called by names and they respond by shaking their fins and greet the audience and the instructors. When they hear the applause from the audience, they become excited.
These dolphins have been trained, and before the show starts, you find that they are called by names and they respond. They respond very well, and then they do several tricks. They can play a ball, they can try to balance themselves, they carry the instructors, they do very many things that actually, if you see, you will know that this is an intelligent fish.
What is more amazing is how the dolphins can manage to perform all these tricks without getting out of the water area. At some point, they can be seen playing and dancing with their trainers in the water. Some gestures are, though, hard to understand. If you thought it's only human beings who will always want the large share of the food, think again. This dolphin refuses to be given small amount of food, but instead refers the lump sum, which amazes even his trainer. As the show comes to the end, the dolphins bid farewell to the crowds amid applause. These are some of the holiday attractions the government can invest in given the strategic locations of our country. The Indian Ocean waters in Mombasa can be a good place to construct an aquarium. Since most Kenyans like going on holiday in the coastal town, this aquarium can form part of the attractions and increase the domestic tourists as well as earn more money to the exchequer. Another amazing tourist attraction worth adopting is the annual fireworks festival, normally held at night and which lasts up to 1 hour of non-stop fireworks. Selected best performers usually do this from thousands of other bidders. The colorful exhibit is done in such a way that it leaves you mesmerized at the creative and artistic fireworks displayed. The fireworks are done from the boat stationed at the middle of the ocean, which brings out an exciting reflection from the waters to the fascination of thousands of the spectators.
Some of the developments that the country can actually adopt, I think, is the rail transport. The rail transport is the cheapest all over the world. And you find that most of the economies of the world have really invested in the rail network. If the country has to invest in an efficient transport system, then trust me, the rail transport system is the most reliable one and it's the cheapest. The government runs so many programs and we depend very much on donors. You're talking about the tourism. We are strategically placed. You know, we have the Indian Ocean. How are we making use of these Indian Ocean waters? Apart from the hotels that we have there, the solace that the country gains from the Indian Ocean, they can construct an aquarium. We can get most of the visitors around the East Africa coming actually to study some of the fish species. We can get students from all over East Africa coming to that place to visit and see. And all this, we are talking about an income that the government is able to generate.
These are some of the practices that, if adopted in the country, can propel the country's economy to greater heights.
いつしか忘れられたおじの形見の三振床の間で誕生祝いの島酒にもたれて誇りを指で撫でて緩んだ糸を巻けば退屈でたまらなかった島唄が響いた